What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott. And as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about 3 things you need to master on your first interaction, first impression, first date with the guy that I think is going to get you the second. Here's my theory. Everyone's worried about the relationship. I say, get the first date. Do good on the first date. Then what's going to happen? You're going to get a second date. Do the same thing. What's going to happen? You're going to get the third date. Why? Because why would a guy stop talking to someone that he really likes, that he really enjoys, that he sees more of an asset of being with instead of a liability? Common sense, right? Now, if you want more information on this kind of stuff, first off, please subscribe because I make these type of videos all the time. And if you want to either work with yours truly or get my course Attraction Academy, link is down in the description. I go over these things in my course, okay? So I guess you can call these things like the 3 Fs. And no, fucking is not one of them, but you can, please don't do that on first impression or first date. It's not going to go well. But the first thing I want to talk about, and these are common sense, but they're things that women don't keep in mind. They don't like consciously think about it. And then they wonder why they're all over the place on a date, or it's awkward, or he's not feeling, or he doesn't call you back, or the chemistry isn't there, and things like that. So the first thing is femininity. Now, common sense, but why am I saying this? Because I am a big believer that a woman in her feminine energy is going to attract a man in his masculine. Why is that? Because they are, I personally feel, made to complement each other. The perfect analogy I always use is like a dance. If you both are in your masculine, or you're even unsure on where you're at, you're both going to try to take a lead. It's going to be very stiff. It's going to be there's a lot of tension. It's not going to look good. If you're both in your feminine, him and you, it's going to be very loose. There's not going to be no direction or guidance. It's going to be just real like noodly. Is that a word? Noodle. It's going to feel like a noodle. It's just going to be real limp, I guess. But if he's in his masculine and you're in your feminine, you're going to complement each other. It's going to move gracefully. It's going to be elegant. Why? Because you're made to be together. You're complementing each other. And a lot of guys, I'm not even going to blame women. I would say a lot of guys, when they go on these dates, they don't even put effort in them anymore. They don't take lead. They don't, I don't know. They don't know how to like take, I don't want to say that sounds aggressive, but they don't know how to take lead. They don't know how to grab a woman by the hand and show her a good time. They don't know how to take lead in a conversation and guide and things like that. So it's not even you. It's not even you. Sometimes I understand that you have to get out of your femininity to become masculine to take a lead, because you're talking to some beta bitch who isn't doing it. So I totally understand that. So I'm not even going to focus on that. The second thing I talk about is framing. If you heard me talk about this before, and I talk a lot about it in my course Attraction Academy, I say context is the bigger picture, the macro, and micro is framing is the micro. It's the slides put together that make the presentation that is context. So you have to master framing on the first date. And framing basically means having the person see things through the perspective or lens the same way you do. So if you want to be high value, you can think you're high value all you want. That's great in your perspective, in your world. You have to convince him of that. At the same time, he has to convince you that he's a nice guy. That's framing. If he can't convince you through actions, words, whatever, how he carries himself, is he paying for the dinner? Is he polite? Is he a gentleman? Then there's no reason whatsoever for you to assume he's a nice guy. You only, the reason you think the things you do, you might think that you have a lot of control over a lot of stuff, and I don't mean just you, I just mean humans in general. You don't actually have a lot of control over a lot of things you think. I mean, you do, but it's through framing. It's through a lens. Okay? Like, everything's marketable. And when you two are talking to each other, it's all framing. And at the end of the date, you're going to kind of reflect on the frames that you guys went through and who convinced who. Oh, I think I like him more than he likes me, or I think he likes me more than I like him, or I don't know. He kind of seems like a player. I mean, I could have done this better. I could have done that, but that's all framing. That is all framing. Okay. So you need to master framing. I talk about that in my course. You want to get my course? I have a whole video on it. It's a very long video on the concept of context and framing. And then, of course, lastly, it's flirtation. It's being quick-witted. And why is this? Because I am a big believer, kind of goes back to femininity, or like the energies. It's polarity. What makes you different than his homies, than his guy friends? It's the sexual polarity. And I don't mean sexual and just like, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Not just like that. I just mean the opposite sex. I just mean, not even, doesn't even have to be the opposite sex. It could be same sex. I don't care. Just the attraction in that way. Okay. There's a polarity. There's a back and forth. There's a flirtatious banter that you have an opportunity to take, to take advantage of, that has a potential to put you one notch above like the friend zone. Okay, like you don't want to be in the friend zone. Well, if you don't, then you got to have this feminine energy. You have to have this frame of a high value, very just high value woman, and you have to know how to convey it through good talk, good banter, quick wit, like little jabs back at them, show them that you can keep up, and then just being flirtatious. That cycle of those three things, ladies, I can't tell you how powerful that is. That's all you need on a date. People talk about like good we need good conversation. You can control that with those three things. It's about personalities. You can control that with those three things. You can control a lot on a first date with just those three F's I was talking about. Okay, again, framing, femininity, and flirtation. Okay, and when I say flirtation, I just mean like quick wit and banter, and just being able to keep up and throw some jabs and create some type of sexual polarity that doesn't make you like one of the guys. Okay, so with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care. If you haven't yet, get my course, Attraction Academy. Links down below, and peace.